the top of your head. So, Jake Paul has called me out on his social media. Apparently he wants to fight me. And listen, just in case you didn't know, my last fight was at Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 fans. So I won't be fighting the mixed martial arts legend Anderson Silva on your undercard. I've got too much respect for him. And your punch when you boxed him, did that even land? Very dubious. But anyway, you've got a job to do against Tommy Fury. If by some miracle you manage to beat Tommy Fury, then I'll listen to you. I'll have a little chat with you, see what garbage comes out your mouth, see what you've got to say. But until then, don't talk about me in the same league as you. I'm a 4-time world champion. 2 WBC titles here. You'll never ever have one of them. You're not good enough. You're not a professional fighter. You're a performing clown. That's all you are. So keep my name out of your mouth until you've done something in the game. I think this Saturday your world ends. But if it doesn't, and you are stupid enough to take a fight with me, when this right hand lands on your chin, it will put you into fucking orbit and knock that stupid barnet off the top of your head.
What's good, family? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So we just heard there from your mans, Carl Froch, former WBC world champion, airing out Jake Paul. Now, where this beef derives from, you can see on your screen now. The JP posted that a few days ago. Carl Froch is big mad because I made more in 1 year than he made in his whole career. You want the payday, I get it. So let's do this. Fight Anderson Silva on my next undercard. And if you get lucky and beat him, then we can step in the ring. And I'll make you that career payday. Let me know. That's where this derives from. Now, in all fairness, people are saying, well, Jake Paul wearing off. Carl Froch was the one who actually originated this squabble. This beef. Because a few days before Jake Paul put that out, Carl Froch was out here running his mouth. Jake Paul not a real boxer. I do understand the usual stuff. And listen, I ain't got a problem with people running their mouths, but a bit like Simon Jordan. Simon Jordan came out on TalkSport a few months ago running his mouth. Eddie Hearn said, listen, Simon, let me punch you up for charity. All of a sudden, Simon Jordan, he a scary guy. He don't want to box. He don't want to be violent. Oh, it's not about violence. What? You was talking like you want to be violent. Anyway, where I'm going with this is, Jake Paul, in my opinion, he's done what he's supposed to do. This guy, Carl Froch, saying what Jake Paul can and can't do. All Jake Paul said, let's run it. That there is the most pure thing you can say in life. He's not talking about street beef. He's not talking about gang violence. He's talking about me and you. If I can't box, how about you get your old grey hair looking ass booty in there, and we'll see who really can and can't do what. I salute that. That there, again, that's the purist. Now, Carl Froch has said he doesn't want to squabble Anderson Silva. He respects him too much. I'm tired of hearing people say corny things like that. Bear in mind as well, Carl Froch was saying, this is one of the key things that set Jake Paul off a few days ago. Carl Froch said, oh, Anderson Silva's too old. Oh, Anderson Silva got hit with a fake punch. By the way, that whole narrative of, oh, Jake Paul, fake punch. Some weird clowns have genuinely edited the footage. Listen, if you don't believe it, go on to the Showtime, go on to any authenticated video footage, and you'll find the punch land just fine. Some clown from Twitter downloaded the video, edited the frames out, and it looks like it doesn't land. But like I said, go on any authenticated source, and the punch landed just fine. But nonetheless, it begs the question, Carl Froch, who was saying how old Silva is, Silva's old, Silva didn't even get hit with a real punch. Why don't you just go in there and handle the business? And what people don't appreciate is, the reason Jake Paul wants, let's not forget, Jake Paul's been begging KSI, begging Timmy Fury to do similar things. Go in there with Tyron Woodley, go in there with Anderson Silva, my leftovers. Why? It's a great commercial play. It builds a narrative. Everyone can then compare results. Ooh, we can really see how good or not Jake Paul really is. Now, if Carl Froch goes in there and steamrolls Anderson Silva, salute to him. That then sets up a fight where it looks like Jake Paul going to get knocked out. Jake Paul's a great businessman. That's what that's doing. But what you notice is these guys who talk about how old Silva is, how Silva didn't really get hit, how Tyron Woodley jumped on the floor. Not one of them, not Timmy, not KSI, not Carl Froch, not one of them want to run it with any of them. That's the facts. all of them got some sort of excuse. But then, when Jake Paul was doing it at the time, he old, he 50, he 40, he MMA. Which is it? He didn't get hit. Make your minds. You can't have it both ways. Can Jake Paul squabble or not? If he can't, go in there and expose him. Now, with all due respect to Carl Froch did say he won't fight Silva, but he will go straight in there potentially with Jake Paul if he comes through the Timmy Fury fight. Now, I don't really care either way, but I think that's potentially dangerous to Carl Froch. I wouldn't want Carl Froch going in there. For me, I see the Anderson Silva fight as a warm-up with a good narrative behind it for Carl Froch. Carl Froch has been out the ring damn near 10 years. So for him to go from 10 years out the ring straight into a Jake Paul fight, especially a Jake Paul who's just beat Timmy Fumbles, would be not good. Not a good look for Carl Froch. But if you want to do that, if he thinks he's Rambo, then let him do it. What's my opinion? I think Carl Froch is too old. If Jake Paul beats Tommy Fury, as I expect, I think Jake Paul washed Carl Froch. That's how I feel. Will I be wrong? Will I not be wrong? It'd be a great fight. I do have to say, it makes for a great narrative, and it'd be a great fight, especially in the UK. I think that fight can sell another 60,000, truth be known, for what it's worth. Assuming, obviously, a Jake Paul who's beat Timmy Fumbles, that can sell 50, 60,000 in the UK, I believe, against Carl Froch. But Carl Froch, age, well, how old is he now? He must be what? He must be best part of 45, 46. And unfortunately, other boxers have come out and aired out Carl Froch. Here's Derek Chisora, the Saudi representative of boxing.
Can't do it, that's why. What do you think about Jake Paul in the last 2 days actively calling out Carl Froch?
There's nothing wrong, no. Carl Froch is go in there and get his ass beaten up and then get your check, bro. Carl, hey mate, you will be Carl Froch, you know.
What?
You will be Carl Froch.
Carl Froch?
Yeah. The Cobra. He will take the venom out of the Cobra and then pump him out. He will be Carl Froch.
Obviously, Carl Froch was on the fight week in Nottingham, and obviously a lot of questions were kind of being fired to Carl. Carl's made some comments. Jake Paul's, I think I've seen 2 tweets from Jake Paul.
I'm willing to bet 200 grand that Carl Froch will get his ass dealt with.
So if anyone's out there that wants to take this bet with you. But you're being 100% serious, you think that...
I am being 100% serious. Carl Froch will get his ass dealt with.
Okay, I'm not going to say I share the same sentiment, but if that's your...
So, we got another former world champion challenger saying the JP will wash Carl Froch. Don't get me wrong, listen. Carl Froch, even at 48 or whatever he is a harder fight than Timmy Fumbles. Carl Froch is legit. But that will be the fight of Carl Froch's life, I believe. At that age of his life. Now, if he want to run it, I actually advise him he need to go in there for Silva, in my opinion, to get the dust off. That's what I'll be doing if I was him. But often the problem with a lot of these old timers are, look at Roy Jones. Roy Jones, these guys, I mean, speak to anyone who's old. Anyone who's old will tell you they still feel like they're 30. Because your mind isn't your body. Your mind doesn't, well, it does age, but you know what I mean? Your mind doesn't age. Your mind doesn't know one day from the next. So your mind doesn't get old. It's your body that feels old. My point is, these guys, they still think they were who they used to be. And that's why Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins, B-Hop, were boxing until they were 55 and getting punched out of the ring by random dudes. Because their head was telling them one thing, I'm still this young, fresh dude, and their body was saying another. And I think this could end up being a tragic tale for Carl Froch's legacy. He think he's still super slick with it, and he end up going super sad. Now, I'm not sitting there and telling you Jake Paul the favourite to win. Well, I am, but what I'm saying is that Carl Froch should at least give Jake Paul the respect he deserves. In my opinion, listen, maybe Carl Froch go in there, yeah, and punch a hole through Jake Paul. I'm just saying, anyone who cares about Carl Froch should be telling him, this ain't gonna lie to you, I think the fight's a great idea with a warm up. Because you don't know how old people get. Carl Froch has taken some big shots in his career. You don't know how he looks 10 years later. So, on that basis, Carl Froch should go in there with, even if not Anderson Silva, anyone who's half decent and coming to win. It's no good going in there with that's the problem with a lot of these boxing guys. A lot of these boxing guys, their careers were based on fighting bums. I'm not saying Carl Froch, what I'm saying, all boxing careers, they fight bums for the first half of their career. That don't count for me. And that's why Anderson Silva, Tyrone Woodley, they're good fights, because whatever you say about them, they're champions. They come to win. They're not just cattle fodder. Timmy Farnballs has fought only cattle fodder. Dudes come in to jump on the floor. So Carl Froch, in my opinion, he needs to go in there with someone who turned up to win. That's why Silva makes sense. That's why Woodley makes sense. Don't just go in there with a bum. And I don't think your man Carl Froch can even hang with real professional boxers now. And that's why I don't like the Jake Paul fight. Because Jake Paul, I don't care what no one says, he's a real professional boxer right now. Based on his skills. People have been complaining, he shouldn't be top 15. I think Jake Paul, I mean, what is it, cruiserweights? I don't know about cruiserweights, but is it like heavyweight? I'm not sure. But I'd put Jake Paul top 20, top 15, at light heavyweight if he beats Timmy Farnballs. That's where I'd put him in terms of his skill level. Top 15, top 20. And as it happens, the 175 division is probably the most competitive at the moment. So it probably might be towards 20 of that, because there's so many dudes. There's so many top guys in that division. But bear in mind, people, he's only like 3 or 4 fights in. And what I will say is this. No one at the 175 division has fought as tough competition 4 fights into their career. These guys weren't, even if 50 or not, these guys weren't fighting Anderson Silva level dudes in their 4th, 3rd fight. They weren't. They were fighting cherries, people to jump on the floor, people coming with no ambition. So I'm giving the JP his credit. Listen, if Cobra wants to get in there, if Carl Froch wants to get in there and just run it, then fair play to him. I'll respect him for that. If Carl Froch wants to get in there, no warm-up, and jump in there, I salute the guy. But like Chisora says, I think Pac will be rolled up and smoked on. Yeah, we'd be puffing on that Venom Cobra pack, 100%. That's how I feel. Too old. And Carl Froch never really impressed me too much with his skills. Gotta be real with you. His skills, his whole shtick was, I'm hard, I'm gritty. But unfortunately, age is the biggest opposer to hard and gritty. Hard and gritty don't really work. I mean, look at Chris Eubank. Yeah, his whole shtick was, I'm hard and gritty. Oops. Yeah, he's chinless now too. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Great for the drama. I'm there to watch. I'm with all the bullshit, 100%. I'm with all of it. All of this skullduggery, I'm down with it all, 100%. Let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell.